Hi, I'm Jonathan, OMA Fleetwood Sound. This is listening series number 3. Call this one The Importance of Sound Quality. Why do we make this stuff? It's big, it's expensive. Why create stuff like this? There's plenty of speakers out there. Actually, when I started this, there were no companies and no sound made at that time that created the kind of sound that I was looking for. And I keep having to go to visual metaphors. Let's look at visual metaphors, actually. Would you watch a feature film or pay money to see a feature film on your iPhone? You might say yes, actually. I think most people not. Now, what if most of the pixels on that iPhone, on that little screen, were dark? So you could only see, say, 5% of the pixels on that screen, or let's say on an old television set, cathode ray tube set. How long would you watch that movie? I'm going to guess not very long. But actually, even today, MP3s, that's the codec for compressing music that most of the services that provide stream music use, the amount of compression is such that you're only getting about 5% of the actual information in the sound file. You wouldn't watch a film or a television show that was 95% dark, would you? But you do listen to that incredibly bad quality sound. And there's a reason why that is. And that is because your sense of hearing and your brain, ears and your brain together, are incredibly sophisticated in fixing, repairing bad sound, missing sound. And so you're constantly being asked to fill in all the missing information that's not in the sound that's being transmitted to you in the interests of capitalism, because this is the only cheap way to deliver the sound in music. And you think that you're hearing the music, and you are, but you're not getting all of it, and your brain is having to replace all the things that are missing. Your brain does not like doing this at all, I can promise you. And there's a term, this technical term in audio engineering for this is called listener fatigue. It doesn't sound very technical, it sounds very descriptive, and it is. You become fatigued. So you don't want to listen. You're hearing the sound, you're performing the operation because you have no choice. That's how your brain works, because sound is so important for your sense of being in the world that your brain will not let missing or broken sound be. It fixes it for you. It's automatic. So you have this degraded, low-level, poor-quality sound constantly surrounding you, and you're fixing it, and you're turned off to sound and music subconsciously. You don't even know that this is happening. I mean, this is a travesty of what music and sound should be. They are. It's an echo of what music really is. You're not getting what you should be getting. It's like a continuous diet of junk food from birth to death with no nutrients. Because high quality sound isn't compressed, and it's not missing anything. Not only is it not missing anything, it's not distorted. So if you go to a concert, and I was at one just last Friday, where the sound was so loud that my brain and ears had to literally shut down. Or things get loud and they distort. Or the harmonic structure of the music that's inherent to the music is missing. Or the little tiny details that you would hear in a properly set up system with a really good recording, they're also gone. Again, it's like looking at an art book of say, paintings of some artists that you like, or sculptures, where most of the detail is gone. We're looking at things through dirty glasses, a filthy window or windshield. You wouldn't do that visually because your brain would say, let's clean this up, or I'm not interested in this. But hearing is so essential to the way we are in the world that these things never come up to the level of consciousness unless you actually train yourself to be aware of them. So we don't even know how significant and important our sense of hearing is. We don't even know how bad sound quality is in general. I can tell you from hosting many events here in this studio with some of the world's most famous artists, composers, engineers, conductors of famous philharmonic orchestras who have sat in this chair listening to these speakers and said, I can't believe what I'm hearing. I've never heard sound like this. These are people who literally live in multi-million-dollar studios, and they don't know. So the vast majority of people on this planet have no idea of what sound quality really means and what it's capable of, and also why it's so important, because you can be famous and you can make tons of money as a musical artist without caring about sound quality. You know, so how many records have you sold? How many Grammys have you won? How much do your fans love you? But the real sort of substance of the music, which is sound, which is energy, that somehow has gotten lost in this present moment of culture. And so why we make this? It's very simple. If we can give you everything that's in a recording, you choose the recording, but if we can give you everything that's in there, all of the dynamics, all of the energy, all of the detail, and it is in those little things that the artists who made that music, they were using those little things to communicate with you. Those movements on the strings, blowing into reeds and into instruments, or even how one is playing a synthesizer. But it's those little things that are so essential to their communication to you of what was going on inside of them, and they wanted you to experience that. You won't experience it in a degraded form. And so taking this seriously, you know, that's the core of what we do. And I want to impart that that's the real mission for me and for these companies with what we're producing. I want to talk in subsequent videos about this in more detail.